anymore. It's more along not the ASA cars of the 90s, but this is more like the throwback to the ASA cars of the early 80s and late 70s, where it was your local guys that could come out and tour and make a name for themselves touring across the Midwest. Now it's the same thing where you have the guys that are able to come through and make a name for themselves. Many have already made a name for themselves at their local touring level.
Yeah.
You know, with the CRA touring, you've got even the SRL guys that are coming across the national stuff. We saw Jeremy Doss going to make the trek coming to the Rattler. And you got the established Southern Super Series guys, which is, to me, the Southern Super Series has been the poster child of this resurgence of super late model racing here in the last 5 or 6 years. So it's a new deal, and I think that's what it's going to be. The biggest thing is they just got to watch out, not schedule on top of each other. They already done that once on April the 1st, but hopefully there's not too many more times that they schedule on top of each other. There's enough cars to go around.
Yeah, tell me about it.
The biggest thing is is that when these guys start tearing up shit come the first part of March, it's how many of them have enough money to get the other cars back together to start racing in April and May.
Bobby, don't be cussing. We've got a young lady on the hotline here that we need to talk to.
You didn't tell me she was here.
She is jumping out, but I know what you're talking about. But just to piggyback off of that, what I do like is that you do see. I mean, some of the guys that may have been Southern Super Series, they're going to the Rattler. They're doing SRL. I mean, there's plenty of that to make itself work out, and I think it's going to be fine. But the dates are tough. I mean, that is very tough. But that's something that's going to have to work itself out. I mean, that's competition. That's NFL, USFL, XFL, NBA, all that stuff. But okay, Lone Star Speed Zone hotline. Final time tonight. Going back to the World Series, and this is a young lady that Bobby's probably offended by saying bad words. But here we go, talking about history made there, but not so much about history. This young lady is just a great race car driver. Here we go. Let's talk to Katie Hettinger. How are we doing, ma'am?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing well. We're doing well. How are you back in Michigan? You were way up there.
So actually, I moved to North Carolina a few months ago, so we just drove back to North Carolina.
Well done. You are in the hotbed spot of stock car racing. So talk about your week. I mean, not only being the first to punch that ticket there at the World Series, but just everything that you accomplished there at New Smyrna.
Yeah, I'd say my first few weeks was successful. It definitely was an up and down week. We had a DNF, a 12th place finish, 8th place, but we were able to get a 2nd place finish, a 3rd place finish, and then obviously my win. So it definitely was a good week. It was a lot of fun. A little stressful, but still a lot of fun. It was a good learning experience for me and a good opportunity for me to get close with my team and get to know the car and everything.
No doubt.
So, Katie, this isn't your first experience running late models and different stuff. Tell us about how you got here. Tell us your story before you got to the World Series this past week.
So, I started racing when I was 5 years old. My grandpa and my dad both raced. And I started out in quarter midgets, and then when I was 10, I switched to micros. So, I ran dirt for 2 years, and then I ran the CRA Junior Late Model Series for 2 years, won the championship my second year in that. And then a couple years ago, I decided to come down here and we started racing for Matt Piercy Racing. So I ran late model stocks, and then I did a little bit of pro racing last year. And then this year I'm going to run full pro season.
Yeah. Katie, I'd love to ask you about those late model stocks. That's one thing, with the Cars Tour and everything. I mean, that really seems to be the class that's really growing and just kind of blossoming. Your thoughts on those cars? They're fun to race, and man, lots of cars in the pits and lots of fans in the stands at those races.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun running late model stock. I won 4 late model stock races last year at Hickory, which made me the winningest female at Hickory Motor Speedway. And then at the end of the year, we decided to run some bigger Cars Tour late model stock races, which those have a really good field, a lot of good drivers. So we struggled a bit in that, but it was a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun running those Cars Tour races. And I'm hoping to maybe run a few late model stock races this year, but we'll see how it all plans out.
No doubt.
Well, Katie, before we get to your success at the World Series, talk about racing at Hickory, man. When you look at that place, it's a little old. Some parts look a little run down, but it's just like going to Indianapolis. Once you get to that place, there is something special about that back gate when you come in there. Talk about your racing experience there at Hickory.
Oh yeah, I love Hickory. It's a really fun track. It's a little rough, but it's a lot of fun. I ran for Matt Piercy Racing, so he won the championship there in 2015. So he knows that track really well. That was the first track I ran a limited late model in, and then a late model stock at. So it's a lot of fun. The fans there are great. They get good crowds and everything. So I'll always love Hickory.
Katie, isn't the cool part about this, you have this breakout week, so to speak, at the World Series, and you win that race, and folks are talking about that. But to talk about the whole backstory, all the folks that have helped you and doing this for so long, I think a lot of mainstream people don't understand that this stuff doesn't just happen overnight. It's a lot of work and a lot of people involved that really make this happen for you guys.
Oh, yeah, for sure. My dad and his friend had been going to Speed Weeks for years, and I was never allowed to go because I wasn't allowed to skip school. So this was my first Speed Weeks down there, and I'm really glad we were able to do it with Anthony Campy Racing because they're an amazing team. They have really fast cars. Casey Rogers, my teammate, he helped so much. Anthony helped a lot, the whole crew. So I'm glad we were able to go down there, and for my first time down there, I was able to bring home a win with Anthony Campy Racing.
No doubt.
So that you kind of stole my thunder. Talk about your relationship with Casey. Obviously, he's the guy that's tried to be at the bigger leagues to the sport and found his home there in super late model racing at the regional and somewhat national level. How much do you get to interact with him over the course of a weekend?
Oh, we talk all the time. He helped me a bunch at the Red Eye. He helped me a bunch at Cordial, and he had a radio. Actually, my start there at Cordial, where I led the first half of the race, that was all thanks to him. He helped me with that start and everything. And it's easy to talk to him about the car because he obviously drove it at the Snowflake. And the whole week of Speed Weeks, after every night I ran, we'd go over things that I didn't do good at, things I did do good at. And he always had a radio. He always hyped me up, always told me I was doing a good job or what I didn't do a good job on. And he definitely is a huge asset to me, and I'm really glad that I'm able to work with him this year.
Yeah, good dude to be to kind of be affiliated with right there. So let's talk about those Campy cars. I mean, that's top notch right there. I mean, to get behind the wheel of one of those things. I mean, how cool is that to drive one of those? I mean, that's some of the best equipment. That's some of the best stuff you're going to find in short track racing. That's got to be a joy to drive one of those machines.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've wanted to drive for Campy for a long time, and so I'm so glad that I get the opportunity to this year. And it's just an overall great team. They know what they're doing there. The whole crew's amazing and everything. I've become good friends with all of them, and it's just overall a really good production over there.
No doubt.
All right, Katie, so the World Series is over. You got the spotlight. That's great. That's awesome. Got the wins. What else is set on the calendar? Do you have any of these other pro late model races circled saying we're going to go in at full speed and attack that race and try to come back with another trophy?
Yeah, for sure. My next race is March 11th at Southern National. We're running the full Cars 4 pro late model season this year. We're going to try and get the championship in that. So we have about 30 total races with Campy this year because we're also going to run the 5 Pensacola pro races and then also hit the Snowflake at the end of the year.
Oh, man, that's awesome. So, Katie, I do want to ask you, I mean, when you win that race at New Smyrna, and I'm going to put myself in your mind. I mean, just to win there, and I know afterwards it's like, Katie's the first, lady to win there, but the big thing is you win there. How big was that for you? I mean, walk me through that last lap that you came across there to take that checkered flag at that storied event.
Oh, it was huge for me. I needed a win so bad. We had bad luck the night before. Yeah. And just new season, new team. We were so close a few nights before, so I was like, we need this one. And that last lap, my spotter, Michael, he was talking me through it. He's like, all right, take it easy. I do pass the lap car. And so he's like, just give him easy lap. I went up in the fifth groove, making sure I'm way clear. And I just took it easy across the finish line. And that feeling was so awesome. My crew coming to me right after, me standing on the door, my celebration. So many people talk about my celebration after, so I thought that was cool because when I win, I get really pumped up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was one of the best part of Speed Weeks that I saw when that happened. So Katie, tell us what do you obviously a young lady like yourself? I mean, race car driver. What do you do for fun besides this? I mean, we always like to talk to the young folks. It's like, what do you do for fun besides race? Most people say I work on the car, but what do you do for fun outside of that race car?
So usually every day I go to the Chevy Tech Center here in North Carolina, and I work out and I train. But back home before I moved to North Carolina, when I went to in-person high school, I was on the varsity volleyball and basketball team. So I love playing sports. I love doing that as much as I can. And then I also showed cattle before I moved. So big thing in my small town back home.
You need to come to Texas. That's a big deal around here.
I do.
You need to come see us. Come to Austin Rodeo. We can kind of take you around the chutes right there and let you take a look around. So lastly, I mean, talk about everybody that makes this happen. I know you talked about Campy and the family and just everybody and how they can follow you to channel you throughout the season.
Yeah, so obviously my mom and my dad and Anthony Campy Racing, they're the whole reason I'm able to do this. So huge thanks to them. And then also my sponsors, Team Chevy and Wheeler Trucking are my two big main sponsors. And then also Lauren Renier, he helps me a lot. And Frame Filters, Autolite Spark Plugs, Victory Custom Trailers, Mobile One, Bell Helmet, K1 Race Gear, PXP Racewear, Cirque Motorsports, Jegs Performance, and Stagger Pros. And then I'm Katie Hettinger on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, website, all that.
I love it. Well done. Katie, congratulations on that big win there and your whole career. I mean, like we always talk about, when folks come on here, it's like, she got a big win at the World Series, but this is just something else on the resume because you are so darn good. Thanks for taking the time, and let's do it again soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Take care. There she goes, Katie Hettinger. Well spoken.
Yeah, she got that PR training.
She's done this a time or two. She has done this a time or two, and that really was a popular victory. And I will say, the victory lane, that was probably the best one that I saw all weekend. That was really good.
It was always good when you learn how to party younger, right? When you learn how to celebrate them the right way and be able to just... The picture that popped up when she was talking was showing just amazing how good how excited she was, right? The expression on her face with that checkered flag was worth 1,000 words of any interview.